Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Wes Shirley with the CR Songwriters Showcase series of events. Wes, nice to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
My pleasure. Now, it's been about a year-ish since you were here last, and you were just getting ready to launch your first Songwriter Showcase event, and you're back, so by that we infer things are going pretty well.
Well, still going, yes. we're finding a way to make it work.
And you have actually done 4 events up to now. So let's start by let's just talk about what's coming up, and then I want to dive back in and talk about what you've learned along the way and things like that, because you've got the next one coming up the 5th of June.
Correct, yep. So 5th of June, we're having 2 singer-songwriters, and that's kind of our model, is we have 2 singer-songwriters in each showcase. And so we have Lauren Wanamaker from Nashville. So she's our first kind of non-Iowan who's coming through town. And then Brian Johannesen from Iowa City. And so this is going to be, June 5th, and this will be our 5th one total. We've done 4 over the past year. And and it's at Breathing Room Yoga in Cedar Rapids. And so it's a nice, intimate space, fits about 30 people, lots of wood.
Yeah. So acoustically very nice. Oh, man. For the singer-songwriter vibe.
It's really kind of a perfect room for that sort of thing.
We'll talk how to get tickets and stuff like that in a few minutes. But as I said, I kind of want to now turn the clock back a little bit and talk to you about what you've learned along the way. Because we talk to a lot of people who put on events here on the show, and a lot of people who listen and watch, do events, of different kinds of art. So we're always kind of interested in when you set up a new event like this, kind of how things evolve. What changed? What are you doing differently now? How have you improved? So first off, tell me a little bit about how things have evolved over the past 4 events.
So I don't know if first one we held at Whipple Auditorium, which was a beautiful room. It was a beautiful room to have the show, but it was way too big for the first time trying to pull something like this off. And so I think what we learned right after that show was, just kind of scale it back, kind of let it grow organically. And I think that was kind of my mistake, is I kind of went in thinking like, oh, people are going to respond. And like, I mean, we had some people there, but not enough to fill up the room, of course, but, and so I think at that point we said, okay, what other spaces do we have in Cedar Rapids that we can either like sort of move through, or can we have a dedicated spot? And that's kind of where Sarah Cram kind of came in, because she's big on the music. She's been playing music in Eastern Iowa.
A member of the Awful Purdy's, past guest here on the Culture Crawl many times.
The Night Lights.
Diplomats of Solid Sound. She's one of the diplomats.
And so her space is just very much a community space. It's a yoga studio, but she wants it to be a lot more than that. She's been wanting to have music in there, and so I think her kind of interests and my interests aligned, and it was the right size of space for kind of where we were, kind of paring back a little bit. And so that's the first thing I learned was pick an appropriate size space.
Find the right size room.
Right. So we've been we've been filling it up. So 25 to 30 people feels like that room is very kind of feels full, and it feels very intimate between the audience and the songwriter. So this will be our 4th one there. So we had one at Whipple Auditorium, and then we've had everyone at Breathing Room since then.
And you mentioned that Lauren is your first kind of out of town, out of the region artist, and we'll talk about how you found her in a minute. But what other artists have you featured? How do how did the artists that you put in the showcase come to you? Yeah,
and so I'm really kind of trying to get a kind of a broad spectrum of performers. So the first 2 we had Joel Sayers and Sarah Cram. And Joel Sayers out of Cedar Falls had been in bands in the Cedar Falls area for many, many years, and I'd kind of known his name. And so he was really, I was very, very happy to get him on the first one, and Sarah, of course. And then the other ones are just sort of people I've known through the scenes, people I've met through songwriters events. We had Win Miranda F., who had just relocated from Las Vegas to Iowa City after the Iowa City Songwriters Fest last year.
Oh, so she liked the vibe well enough to move here.
Exactly, and then so just the fact that she was a scholar at the Iowa City Songwriters Fest, And so I met her through a benefit show that we did at the Wildwood that both of us were on. And she just, kind of had this really nice presence, good voice. And so, and I thought like this was a great chance to bring in somebody who's just recently relocated, kind of give her a little foundation. And then the other folks are just people, I've known through the scene. Jordan Sellergren came up and did one, which was great. And so I've always kind of liked her and her approach to music. And
Jordan's been a big part of the Iowa City area music scene for a long time, and now is the publisher of Little Village.
I multiple levels. I was really happy to kind of get her and like involved with it. And Zach Stanky, who I've just known he's a Cedar Rapids singer-songwriter, and I've just known him for 9-10 years. Been playing music with him, and just I've always loved his songwriting. And so I'm just sort of like, I have a long list. I have a list of probably 30 songwriters that I'm hoping to get on eventually. And so I'm just sort of going through and seeing who I can grab and what might make an interesting pairing. So you kind of get two different kind of approaches. So it's not just sort of two sad white guys playing back to back,
Well, which leads us to someone who's not a sad white guy, and that's Lauren Wanamaker. How did she come to your attention?
So Nicole and Benj Upchurch, they did one, and again, two kind of stalwarts of the Iowa City music scene. And so they came up and did one earlier this year. And she had contacted me and said that so Lauren Wanamaker was at the Iowa City Songwriters Fest, was a scholar. And so I don't know if you know how that kind of worked. So the Iowa City Songwriters Fest had their first year last year, the inaugural kind of festival. And they had spots for, I think, 20 scholars, which they were able to kind of bring to Iowa City from all over the country and sort of have them network, have them sit in workshops together, have them communicate. And so Nicole Upchurch was one of the scholars last year, and she said, there's a woman who also was a scholar. She's going to be touring through the area. Would you be interested in having her stop by and do this? And I was like, yeah, great. And just, to kind of start to kind of spread out our ideas of who we're bringing in, and to give a platform for somebody who's just touring and trying to get by as kind of a solo artist and find a space that's appropriate to perform.
And you're matching her with Brian Johannesen,
yes.
Long been a part of the Iowa City music scene. He's done a lot of shows and also worked at the Englert for a while. I saw him as the warm-up opening act. That's the better term. The opening act for John Hyatt. Not a bad gig.
Great gig, yeah.
And I really enjoyed his stuff. Well, as now of course, obviously you've been a part of this scene. You've got this big list. These artists and have heard a lot of them, and now are presenting them in this format. How do the artists vary in terms of texture, subject matter? What has there been anything that surprised you along the way with the programming or the attitude, the style that the different artists bring?
Mm-hmm. So Zach Stanky and Jordan Sellergren were on one. And Zach is very much like a boisterous, like he's got a big voice, and very much kind of like a southern roots rock country guy, but just great songwriter, great lyrics writer. And then so to kind of pair him with Jordan, who was mostly on piano, or I think only on piano, brought a bass player. But she's got a kind of just like this very almost like noirish vibe, where just like everything's kind of slow, it's kind of quiet, there's a lot of reverb. And so just like kind of watching those two back to back, and you just start to realize like, with minimal equipment, you can still get like a wide expression of musicality just between those two things.
I suspect that this also is something that, while not unique to the shows that you put on, but by putting them in an intimate space, and it's not a bar, it's not a place where people, but it's a listening room, very much a listening room. Yes. You go there to hear them. And you also get to hear them in their natural environment. Not a lot of sound reinforcement. So you're really hearing just them and their instrument.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we do have like a little PA set up, and I always just want that just in case, like, because we do want to fill up
and to balance.
Yes, and balance between instrument and voice, but it really doesn't take much to fill up that room, and every time I've been in that room listening to those artists perform, like there's just been a moment where I just feel like it's just me and them in the room. Like I can close my eyes and just feel like their voice and their instrument is just like right in front of me. And that's a really, really special feeling.
The CR Songwriter Showcase is coming up June 5th at Breathing Room Yoga. How do we get tickets?
So we're just selling tickets at the door. There are no advance. Doors are at 7. Show starts at 7:30. It's bring your own refreshments. So, and it's $15 at the door. And so, you just walk up and if we sell out, well, I guess that's a good thing for us, but it hasn't been a problem yet. So,
is there a Facebook page, website, anywhere anybody that people can go if they want more information?
Yep. So just CRSongwriters.org, CRSongwriters.com, and then just kind of keep an eye out. We'll be putting stuff up on Facebook and Instagram, and so
and look for another one in a couple months.
Hopefully, yeah.
Excellent. Well, Wes, thanks so much for coming and give us a little project progress report on this. I'm really happy after hearing about the first one that you were going to put on, that this has continued to grow and develop, and excited to see it continue. So again, June 5th, the CR Songwriter Showcase with Lauren Wanamaker and Brian Johannesen, Breathing Room Yoga, CRSongwriters.com.
Yep.
If you would like more information, you can get your tickets at the door. Well, come back in a few months and let us know what is going on next time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being such a great supporter of live music here.
Oh, thanks for being here.
All right.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.